Greetings, everyone! My name is Lancer, and we're back here again to continue my Mal series review. Like I said last time, we are continuing this series. We're still in the A's in the alphabet, and we're continuing with Anohana, or the full title, Anohana, the flower we saw that day. This is a show that I recently watched and completed. I'd say like about a couple months ago. Uh, very critically acclaimed, I'd say. Like a lot of people very much enjoy this show. It's an A1 Pictures animated show, and I have mixed feelings about A1 as we talk more. I'll say why, but just so you know, I don't really like A1 that much. The Japanese title for this show is Ano hai mita hana no name o boku tachi wa mada shiranai. Pretty much what Anohana is, it's a romance show, but at the same time, it's kind of like a coming of age show. Spoiler warning, of course, I have to say that because, that's the only way I really know how to talk about these shows is spoiling them, unless they're new, of course, like I did in my Nagatoro video. But this show came out in 2011, so this year has been the 10-year mark since this show aired and stopped airing. The show begins and you're instantly introduced to your main character, or the several characters, but the main one that you'll be following, Jinta, as well as several of the other characters. You got Anaru, Yukiatsu, Suruko, Popo, and of course, who the show mainly revolves around and who the story kind of progresses through, Menma. This story starts, and right off the bat, you're introduced to Jinta and Menma, and you can tell they kind of have like a childhood friend kind of relationship, as well as kind of a little spark of romance in there. But first episode, you can't really dabble in that just yet. But very quickly, you realize, oh wait, Jinta is the only one who can see and interact with Menma, because Menma is dead. I'm gonna be honest, when I first watched the show, I thought that was gonna be the big twist at the end. I thought that's what it was, but then halfway through episode 1, you instantly realize that, oh wait, Jinta's the only one who can actually interact and actually talks to her. And they immediately just like, oh yeah, Menma died 5 years ago. She's like, oh. Like, when I first watched this show, I thought like that was the big twist. Like, I hadn't watched it yet, but I heard like that was like a big thing in it. But then as I went through, I was just like, oh, there's not really a twist in here then, I guess. Yeah. I have to, of course, stress first as part of this show. When I first finished it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. But even before recording this video, a while after that, I changed it to a 6 out of 10, which we know is a fine on the Mal score. And also the movie that came out after pretty much just fully wrapping up on a story, which we'll get to later. I gave a 5 out of 10, which is average. The whole plot is like there was this group of friends, and because of what happened with Menma, which was a series of events that I was not a fan of, and I think was a very crappy and awful thing that they did, but we'll get to that. Menma died, and then 5 years went on, and then they all split apart, and this story is all of them coming back together and then finally seeing Menma and having a heartfelt final goodbye to her, and then that's where the tearjerker at the end comes in. I'm going to be completely honest here. I think that Anohana is overrated. I am most likely going to get some hate for that, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, you know what, it was a very good show. The whole plot, the character was good. No. At the end, of course, I didn't cry as much as I was told I was going to, but it was still emotional. Like, it's hard not to watch that final episode and not get a little bit, like, emotional. I didn't cry or anything, but I did feel like, oh yeah, that's a little sad. But as just going through the show, these characters are not that great. I understand that it's like, oh, they're grounded or whatever, they're realistic. Their whole team is known as the Super Peace Busters, or at least that's what they called it when they were children. I'm just gonna say, like, Jinta he was a decent main character, trying to convince everyone that Menma's still like her spirit's still around, but of course everyone just is very skeptical except Popo. He was the best character in all of this. Popo and Menma were the two that I took away. I was just like, all right, they were okay, but it's just the other ones: Jinta, Suruko, Yukiyatsu, Anoru. Like those four were like the ones that constantly were like, can you stop? Because Anoru, the redhead, like she is the tsundere character. I know I've talked before that I'm a simp for tsunderes. Not this one. Like more often than not, Anoru, I was finding myself very annoyed with. Because you look at this show, and other than like the whole spirit thing and Menma coming back to life, it's like, yeah, it's a grounded show, it's realistic, it's a slice of life, but at the same time, it's just she's just one of those characters where it's like, can you just get over yourself? Like, just tell him you like him or something, or just like accept that you're not gonna get together. Just do something other than what you're doing. And then Yukiyatsu, my god, this dude easily was the one character that aggravated me the most. Obviously he's the one that's like, we don't really have an antagonist of this show, but we kind of need someone to provide some tension and just like get the plot moving in some way. But I know it's designed in that I'm supposed to not like this character, but I just really didn't. And I also didn't buy that at the end of all this, they just were like, yeah, water under the bridge, Yukiyatsu, you're still our friend. Just because they all got together and cried about it. It's just like, no, you are still a dick. And then the fact that the in the later episodes, like towards the end, they try to recreate. The guy had the balls to try to recreate the horrible event that happened. It's like I had very much a recency bias with this show when I gave it an 8 out of 10. But then as time went on, I thought about it. I'm just like, these characters are awful. Other than Popo and Menma, of course. Like Menma, like she was good for what they were trying to do with her. Like she made you feel sad when you want to feel sad. Like she was a cute character. Popo was cool too. Like he was just obviously the comedy relief character. Like he was the only one that actually like really believed up till the very end and still like stayed strong. And then Suruko, who pretty much is just Yukiyatsu's pet. Well, not so much, but she just like follows him around and just like sticks with him throughout everything. She was the most boring one because she didn't do anything. Whenever she was on screen, I'm just like, can we go to some other characters, please? Overall, I'd say that's my review, really. I know like most people who review Anohana are just like, oh, it was so good, it was heartfelt or whatever. No, I'm telling you how it is. I didn't like... I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's just the characters grinded my gears a little too much. And I'm not going to change the score. I'm going to leave it as 6 out of 10. But the movie that came out afterwards, which pretty much was just a recap movie with just a couple extra scenes at the end. It was... I don't like recap episodes or movies, especially if they're movies. It's like an hour and a half of shit you just watched. That one I'm just going to leave it at a 5 out of 10 as well. It's an average. I felt like they could have just done like a 1-episode OVA of that instead of just like a full-length movie. So yeah, this probably is going to be a shorter video. I don't really like talking about this show too much. I just don't like people being so biased towards this show just because of how beautiful it looks or whatever. But even though I talked about before how A1, I have mixed things about A1 just because like their shows are very 50-50 on like their animation quality and just how they look. This show it looked okay. I liked it. The animation was pretty good. It's just the art. The art was good at when it needed to be. But yeah, that's my review of Anohana. But next time, we're going to be talking about something that is, in my opinion, much better. And just more of something that's my speed. And next video will most likely be longer because there's a lot more to cover. But join me next time when we review My Hero Academia. Because that is next on the list. Because now this is the last one of the A's. And since on MAL they sort them by the Japanese titles, It's Boku no Hero Academia is next, so that'll be the B's. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing that's in my B's. So join me next time for that. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking through on this video. If you like what you see, click subscribe. Click the like button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. Comment below if you have any anime recommendations for me, or what you enjoyed in general about this video. Until next time, I'm Lancer. Let's have fun.